Solomon writes in Ecclesiastes chapter 5, "Those who love money will never be satisfied with money. Those who love riches will never be happy with what they have." We decided this week to take a little bit of a break from the news cycle and the craziness of our world and talk about everyone's favorite topic, money. Right? Let's move on from politics and start to talk about money. But in all seriousness, that is our topic for the week. I remember listening to a podcast by Christian writer and speaker Jenny Allen, and a few months ago she was talking about her small group, and one of the first times that they met, her and her husband had just moved to a new city, and they started in a new church, and they got plugged into a new small group to share life with some new friends. And one of the very first weeks they were in group, they had everyone lay out all of their financial situations. Like, talk about awkward. Talk about, hey, welcome to our group. We want to know all about your finances. The whole group, everyone. I'm not sure how in depth it was, or how that all worked out. But like, they definitely left knowing a few things about like how much debt load each couple was in, how they viewed generosity. All of these things that we kind of keep hidden at times when we don't really talk about our money. We don't want to talk about how much we owe or how much we don't owe or how much we have. But they go into this meeting, and this is one of the first weeks that they're there. Now, I know this wasn't done for like comparison purposes or something like that, but the reason that they did it is essentially to say, we're laying everything out on the table. There was nothing left to hide. Once you kind of know a little bit about someone's pocketbook, you kind of know their life situations, their struggles, their hurts, and the things that you can help them or pray with them about. I'm sure you've all seen the show Hoarders, or maybe you've heard of the show before. But if you've watched the show, you might know that there's a couple different kinds of hoarders. There's the type of hoarder that if you were to drive up to their house, you would know automatically that they're a hoarder. It comes to mind a house that is in my hometown that every time you drove by, it looked like they were having a yard sale. Like, they just had stuff all over the place, and then if you were to go in the house, it would be the same way. It's clear that they are hoarding things for a long period of time and leaving them out. But there's another kind of hoarder. There's this secret, sneaky kind of hoarder. There's this type that, like, on the outside it looks tidy. On the inside, inside the house, there's just like barely a walkway that you could get into. So they would, close up the garage door and close up the shades or whatever. So on the outside, and even when they would go to work, their friends, their coworkers, even their small group friends wouldn't know that they had a hoarding problem. In this week's message, Wayne talked about the 6 signs that you are in love with money. Not all of these will be completely visible from the outside. Not all of these will be obvious when you drive up to the house and go, that person has a lavish lifestyle. Extortion, greed, materialism, lavish living, all of those are the ones that are just so blatant. We just look at them and go, yeah, that person has a problem. Those TV preachers and those billionaires living lavish lifestyles, they're obviously having problems with loving money. But if I'm honest, I can be like one of those sneaky hoarders, where the things on the outside look pretty, okay. And, you see the car that I drive and those sort of things. And there's nothing really lavish about that. But when we start to peel back some layers and see like the motivations for some of the clothes that I want or the car that I would like to have, there's still a motivation there. Oh, sure, I can tidy up the lawn and I can, downplay how much I really do want. I can pull the garage door closed on my materialism. I can pull the shades closed on my love of money. But I'm really still having the same problem. I just don't have the means to actually go and do it. But when we talk about our groups and we talk about caring for one another, did you know that the number one cause for divorce in America among couples is money fights, financial situations? They can't agree on what to do with the money, or someone's been dishonest with the money, or someone does all of the money stuff and the other one doesn't, and it's contention in the marriage. Imagine if you had a group of people who knew that you were having issues. Imagine if you had a group of people that could come alongside of you and pray with you and help you in those situations. For young people, those fresh out of college or really still in college, one of the number one worries of our young people is the amount of student debt that they will come out of school with. Are they going to be able to get the career that they long for, or are they going to just have to get a job that pays the bills for the debt that they have? Imagine if instead of pretending like these problems didn't exist, as groups and as a church, we came around people and we loved one another through all of these hardships. So no, this week we're not going to ask you to lay it all out on the table and to say, here's all of the financial trouble that we're in, or here's all of the financial trouble that we're not in. Look at us. We're not going to have you do that this week. But we are going to look again at those 6 signs that Wayne talked about of do you have a love for money? And I want you to honestly look at these questions and say, are there some of these that sneak up on you? Are there some of these that you might have that you're closing the garage door on, that you're tidying up so people don't notice, so that it looks good on the outside, but on the inside you really do have this love for something more? And so as we go through these in the small groups and with the discussion questions, I'm going to ask you just to have an open heart. For there are some in our group during this time especially who have lost jobs, who have lost incomes, who have lost family members. There's some hard things going on in our church family. And so can we be groups? Can we be life groups that really live life together, that really come together and not ignore the problems, don't shut the garage door or the shades and tidy up the outside, but really care for one another and what is really happening in our lives? As we walk through these 6 signs, let's just remember, this is not a judgment time. This is not a like, well, you have this problem and I don't. This is a personal time. And while I know this is not anybody's favorite topic, it seems to be the one that we tidy up and we hide the most. So this week, I would encourage your groups to be honest, to be open, to care for one another and bear one another's burdens as we love one another in these groups. Have a great week, Northside.